We'll now watch a short film about Royal Air Maroc. That was really short. I'm now delighted to invite on stage for a conversation on the viable alternatives to face the energy crisis. And I think we all know, if there's any lesson of this last year, it's how important and vital steady flow of energy is for the world and resources. Eran Lerman is the editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Strategic Tribune, which is part of Global Media Holding, and he will interview on stage Saïd Moulin, the president of the Moroccan Agency for Energy Efficiency. Eran, take it away.
It's an honor. I should really start by saying this is the second time I'm in Marrakech. 17 years ago, I was here as Ahmed Sharai's guest. Now I am here because I'm the editor-in-chief of the magazine that he initiated. And I can hardly describe the amazement seeing how dynamic, how impressive is the change. And what happened in Marrakech, what happened in this country in all these years under the leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI. So again, I'm grateful for the pleasure and for the opportunity. And Saïd Moulin is the CEO of the Agency for Moroccan Agency for Energy Efficiency, former president of the Commission on Energy Issues for the Confédération Générale des Entreprises du Maroc, and also former president of Med-Ener, and an advisor to the government and to a variety of different corporations on these issues. When I was preparing for our meeting, people told me that if Mr. Ahmed Bouari was Mr. Irrigation, I should call you both Mr. Energy and Mr. Environment. And the obvious question, and you have just come back from Sharm el-Sheikh, how do you square these two titles? How do you square Morocco's rise as a potential energy producer and the commitment that is so evident to green values?
Well, thank you very much for the presentation, and also would like to welcome the Israeli delegation in my turn, and to say that we are very glad you are very welcome in the kingdom of peace, kingdom of tolerance, kingdom of innovation. You mentioned you just arrived from Sharm el-Sheikh, not so far from Eilat. So we were discussing about what's going on, and especially what happened this last summer. And we were sure that knowing here in Africa, because we organized in this city, in Marrakech, 5 years ago, the COP27. I was in charge of the Public-Private Partnership Commission. We decided to have a commission dedicated to public-private partnership for climate. It was the first time in an organization of COP. Why? Because we believe that the solutions, the innovations, the financing can come from the private sector in partnership with the public sector. That's the first approach. We had a chance in this country that the vision of the king, not this year. I'm heading the Moroccan Agency for Energy Efficiency. It's the former Renewable Development Energy Center, created in 1982, decided by former King Hassan II. It was just after the second oil shock, and at this time, renewables were very expensive, but we wanted to have those approach for that. Another point, in 2009, the King's letter said that for Morocco, there is priority to renewable energy and energy efficiency in our energy policy. It was clear for everyone that we should go for very energy-dependent country, to start this energy transition, not now, but in 2009. That's why you saw on the movies how many solar plants we have today. And I'm glad because in the 90s, I was at the former working already in the Renewable Energy Center, and we had discussion with the Ben Gurion University at this time, it was in the 90s, and about solar energy, all the technologies, how they can think. I'm Moroccan Andalus. Mm-hmm. In few centuries ago, in the Andalusian, in this region, all the religions were working in peace and in tolerance. And at this time, many innovations in medicine, in water issue. And I believe that, and thank you for the forum and for the invitation, because I'm sure that we can, by working together, by developing together, by innovating together, proposing some new solutions from all those actions on energy issue, on water issue, as we heard, on other sectors, of course, but mainly on those points, because in our continent, we still have 600 million people without electricity. We still have many droughts. We still have many floods. We were discussing in el-Cheikh about loss and damage found. Yes. That was the big debate. We need for this continent to have some support for those actions, because it's nonsense that a continent that is emitting less than 3% greenhouse gas emissions, 3%, is suffering a lot from the climate change today, and we should have the solutions for that. During the COP22, the King, Mohammed VI, wanted to have an organization with all African head of state proposing African solution for Africa. We wanted to have this approach because we believe that we have this possibility today. We are innovative in many fields. In energy, you saw what's happening in this kingdom in renewable energy, but also you saw the big projects, but we have many small projects linked to renewables, decentralized solar. We are helping farmers to switch from diesel pump to solar pumps. We are pushing for water issue, for water management. So it is really clear that today we should continue and have this cooperation. And what we said in Sharm el-Sheikh, to answer again your question, is what to look at. We are living some difficulties today, but we should be coherent in our policies, because it's a matter of giving development, but also social issue for the population in the continent, but also private sector being more and more involved with green financing. That's the last point. We discussed about a lot of green financing, a lot of promises. We have to be careful about that, but we're sure that there's many possibilities in this field.
Thank you. You mentioned the shock of the oil energy shock. We have all experienced a shock in the energy field as a result, direct result of the Ukraine war. Let me combine two questions. How do you deal now with this challenge, and what is the role of regional cooperation in your response to this present challenge?
It was we were just finishing the pandemic and the war started. We were scared about our tourism industry, but now we are glad that we have these numbers today. But for us, working in the energy efficiency sector, when you have a crisis on energy, when we were trying to convince actors to be more energy efficient, sometimes they were accepting. But during the war, and because of the price of energy, we saw that many people are becoming more and more energy efficient. Because it's an opportunity for us.
The crisis is an opportunity.
Definitely. So that's why we believe that this is a big issue today, not only for energy efficiency to decrease the energy bill, but also we're talking about energy sovereignty. And when you're using renewables, you are less energy dependent. Mm-hmm. More you have to own sun, your own wind, and we have this chance, we heard this morning, we have an exceptional potential on renewable energy, wind and solar. So we can have the lowest price, but this lowest price was possible because of governance, because of transparency in the contract, because of confidence between partners. Those projects were developed to PPPs, and it was important for us to look at when you have this approach, when you have the dedicated agencies. The King's letter was very clear. Objective to reach with dedicated agencies, with new regulations, with the industry involved in development of the industry. Today, almost 70% of the spare parts of the windmills are produced here in Morocco. So you can have all the impact. And the last point is the social impact. All the renewable energy projects are developed sometimes in poor areas. So they developed all the regions because there's very windy or very sunny regions, but sometimes very poor regions. So we can support and develop those regions through renewables.
Well, I'm afraid this is more or less all the time we have. We could have been here for hours discussing these issues, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to hear your perspectives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.